Pre-Rift events for Vendetta start July 24th and run until the 30th, the day before the set releases on July 31st. If you've never been to a Pre-Rift event, or you just want to know what to expect from this upcoming set, this video is for you. Welcome to Runeterra Tourist. I'm Patrick. We're taking a quick little break from the lore deep dives to discuss the upcoming Vendetta Pre-Rifts, what to expect from the upcoming set, how sealed deck building works, what's in the Pre-Rift kit, and all the new mechanics that you're actually going to see in this set before you sit down to play. Now, if you've attended Pre-Rifts in the past, the format hasn't changed, but there's still a lot to check out in this video. Feel free to use the chapters to skip ahead to the mechanics and the band news. Wait, what? Otherwise, don't fret. We're going to return to our regularly scheduled programming next week, I promise, especially since I'm extremely excited about the legends in this set. So like and subscribe, and hype if you're on mobile, if you're as pumped as I am. Okay, let's just get into the whole thing. A pre-rift is a sealed format event that happens before the official set release. And so players build decks on the spot from a limited card pool called a pre-rift kit, rather than bringing pre-built constructed decks. They're organized through local game stores, so check the store listings or the Riftbound site for events July 24th through the 30th. I'll be sure to place an events website in the description. The nature of these sealed events is keeping the games loose and friendly, as everyone gets to learn the new cards from the set together, leveling the playing field. And it's the best low pressure way to check out the new set, gain new cards for the collection, and really just engage with the local community. It's a great entry point if you've been nervous about more competitive formats too, since the atmosphere is very, very light. Each Vendetta Pre-Rift kit contains one seeded Pre-Rift pack that contains one of the Vendetta legends, plus 14 thematic cards built around that legend. And there's a change from Unleashed. All 9 legends have seeded packs this time. There's no split between Pre-Rift legends and everybody else. And the 9 legends are Akali, Mbessa, Jace, Kennen, Mel, Nasus, Renekton, Shen, and Zed. So be on the lookout for lore deep dives into each of them throughout the Vendetta season. You will also get 5 Vendetta booster packs from which to help build your deck, 1 promotional Riven Shattered card indicated by the pre-release seal on it, and a note: like in Unleashed pre-rift events, the promotional card cannot be used in deck building. However, if you pull a Riven Shattered from one of your booster packs, you're more than welcome to use it. As I mentioned, this time all 9 legends have their own seeded pre-rift packs, so whoever you're hoping for, they're in the pool. And as always, you're not locked into the legend you're dealt from the pre-rift pack. If you pull a different legend from your booster packs and like them better, or their colors just line up better with the rest of your pool, you're free to build around them instead. The seeded pack gives you a head start on one of the legends' game plan, but you're never actually contractually obligated. To build your sealed deck, you need at least 25 cards in the main deck, building from the pool of cards that you open from packs, and exactly 12 cards in the rune deck. You can use as many copies of a card as you open, including going above the normal limit of 3 copies of a card. And you're not limited to the runes you pull from booster packs. Your event organizer will have a pool of runes available for you to use. You may run a legend, and you may run a chosen champion from your main deck. This champion does not need to match your legend. And any signature spells you pull and run also do not need to match the legend, they just need to work within your deck's domains. You will select up to 3 domains of your choice, or the 2 domains of your selected legend plus 1 other domain of your choice. If you use a legend or signature card, that covers 2 of your domains. And your rune colors are locked to your legend and or signature card. You can use runes that match the domain colors of the legend, chosen champion unit, and signatures that you're playing. For example, the Zed legend, which is Fury and Chaos, Renekton, Fury as the chosen champion, and Kennen's signature spell Lightning Rush, which is Chaos and Order, can all be run in the same sealed deck, and therefore the colors of your deck would be red for Fury, purple for Chaos, and yellow for Order. And as a reminder, it's optional to run a legend or chosen champion. You're not required to have them. By not running either, you will draw an extra card at the first draw phase of the match. Now, if you use neither a legend nor a chosen champion, you still only draw one card. You may run any battlefield you open from your booster packs or your seeded pre-rift pack, but you're not required. You may run blank battlefields instead. And to indicate this, turn a card over to display its backside. It's basically why it's important to bring sleeves to these events. Here are a couple of practical tips that I've picked up after participating in pre-rift events. So I've done the sealed build a pre-rift deck thing already if you want to check out a video for Unleashed that I did. But basically what I start to do is identify the seeded pre-rift pack that I received, and then I start sorting by colors, finding the legends, the signature spells, champion units, and I pick any of the bombs or impactful cards that I find. Take note of which colors you have more of, and this will indicate the options of opportunities for your deck building here, especially since you can utilize 3 colors in limited. And so when doing this, make sure that the third color you have has really little to no power cost. And the reason why is because splitting your runes 3 ways for the colors can really limit what you can play on your turn. Now your mileage may vary, but I tend to run 15 units at minimum, with at least 5 being 2 costs. And the reason why is you want to run more units than you think you need, erring on the side of inserting more units, because in sealed you can brick pretty easily, stalling out when you have nothing to deploy. And so giving yourself the opportunity to run enough bodies to have something to do every turn is pretty effective, since after all, units are how you score points more often than not. Simpler legends are a little bit more forgiving in sealed. So for example, if you open a Renekton, you need a specific density of units and spells that consume power to make him work and really get this champion unit active, and so running out of runes really limits your options. So if you open, for example, a Mel or Mbessa, the game plan is a little bit more flexible and straightforward, so adjust your expectations accordingly. Similarly, bombs are way more effective and limited. A big body is enough to swing a match, so having 2 to 3 bombs will get the job done more often than not. Only choose a battlefield if it will help your plan, not your opponent's. In sealed, you're not required to use a battlefield at all, nor the ones that come in your seeded pre-rift pack. I mean, in one pre-rift, I basically ran all blanks just because I didn't want to help my opponent out. Likewise, it can be a tremendous advantage to not run a legend or a chosen champion to get more flexibility in deck building, as well as getting that extra card draw in the beginning. There was one pre-rift where I forewent the legend and I stuck with a chosen champion, and my games went much more smoothly. Something specific to Vendetta is that with the flow and burn mechanics, which I will explain in a second, cards in your trash are not necessarily dead. They can actually be really valuable there. And so factor that into your cuts. This is a much more advanced and tricky tactic, so especially for newer players, this might be difficult to grok, but capitalizing on cards that fuel your trash or benefit from being in there will be worth a lot more in this set. Earlier this week, Riot announced a Set 4 rules update with at least one band already happening, Stealthy Pursuer, this Origins card that is being proactively banned. And with Chaos and Order now being possible for the first time, it enables a 3-card combo, and so it needs to get done. The basics behind this infinite loop was that you would have a Eye of the Herald attached to the Stealthy Pursuer, and if you had Renata Glask in play, you would move the Stealthy Pursuer to ideally an open battlefield. This would create a recruit token. The token would enter ready, so then you would move the token from the battlefield back to base. The Stealthy Pursuer would follow, creating a recruit token, and on we go. In his post on social media, Dave Guskin said that there would be a full announcement of the ban list on Thursday, July 16th, and that they would take effect on Friday, July 24th. So that's the first day of pre-rift events, but this really affects constructed, so pre-rift should be left alone for the most part, but something to keep in mind for your future deck building purposes. Every previous set had paired domains in the same established combinations, but Vendetta introduces 3 pairings that have never existed in Riftbound. You've got red and green with the Kali, purple and yellow with Kennen, and blue and orange with Jace. And what this means practically is that deck building space has literally expanded now. Interactions that nobody accounted for, such as the Stealthy Pursuer example, are now powerful enough that it warrants Riot's attention here, but it creates a whole new plethora of opportunity. There are a lot of fun mechanics in Vendetta, so let's take a look at them. Cards with flow can be played from your trash. It's kind of indicated by a little symbol over there on the side of the card, but once played this way, they'll be banished afterwards rather than returned to the trash, so no infinite loops there, sorry. But this basically means that your trash is now your second hand of cards. You discard or mill or trade cards away in combat, and this could be resource development rather than just a loss. Just in time for Jinx prize support to no longer be in our queues. Excellent timing. Burn sends a card from the top of the main deck directly to the trash, and it'll indicate whether that's your deck or your opponent's, or if you get to choose. And so on its own, it sounds kind of like a downside by discarding cards, but with flow cards available, Burn is kind of stocking your second hand, so to speak. So burn and flow hand in hand. Some cards have an empower cost, so you pay to switch the card into an empowered state, something that's ideally more powerful, unlocking additional abilities listed under the empowered keyword. Some effects empower units without paying a cost, such as Kennen's Legend that does this when you play cards from anywhere other than hand. And so we've seen similar mechanics in other TCGs, and it's nice to have an option like that in Riftbound, especially for board stalls or moments when you run out of things to do on your turn. So if you find yourself light on cards, or you have cards that you want to save for more optimal opportunities to play them, Empowered is a really good mechanic for that. A new card type is Unit Gear, which, you guess it, it's a card that can be both a unit and a gear. So it can be played as a unit to a battlefield or to your base as equipment, and legends like Jace seem geared towards such units. Sorry, you know what, I'm not sorry about that one. And so getting additional functionality from gears will be useful for those strategies. A little specific, but definitely good for them. There's now a cycle of spells, one per domain, that's called Decrees, and each is designed to answer a rival color. And so it's powerful if you can see a certain predominant color in your meta and it locks up that specific domain, but its usage is pretty specific. And it could be a dead card in your hand if you were in a certain matchup that doesn't have it. Obviously, sideboarding is a thing, but it's something that you'll have to consider when deck building. And that's everything you need to know for Vendetta and your upcoming Pre-Rift. Now, who are you looking forward to playing? Me personally, I've got my eye on Kennen and Mbessa. They look incredibly powerful, but I'm not gonna lie, they all look really fun to play. Anyway, Lord Dives resume next Friday, and the first legend we're gonna look at is Zed, Master of Shadows, so stay tuned for that. Pre-Rift events are going to be running from July 24th through the 30th, and Vendetta releases July 31st. So new episodes will drop weekly. Subscribe and like and all that if that sounds like your kind of thing. Good luck with your seeded pack and booster pulls. I hope you get the legend you're looking for. And until next time, thanks for watching.